Welcome home to USA Global TV and Radio. Ours is a place where dreams take flight, voices are heard, and stories are shared. This is where cultures meet, connections are formed, and ideas are transformed into action. This is your destination for authentic storytelling, diverse perspectives, and meaningful conversations. We're where global stories unite and bridges are built beyond all borders. Discover our world of education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. Together, we're building bridges worldwide. Subscribe to our USA Global TV channel and download our USA Global TV app. Be our guest or join our team. Visit usaglobaltv.com. With heartfelt thanks to our executive producer, Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck, music scored by Yifei Tang from Cloud Road Music, creative direction by Paul Garcia, and I'm Al Cini, and I'm very proud to be part of the USA Global TV and Radio family. So join us here at USA Global TV and Radio. Make us your home for global connection. All rights reserved. This video and its contents are the exclusive property of USA Global TV and Radio. Unauthorized use, duplication, or redistribution in any form is strictly prohibited. Thank you for being a part of our global community. Let's inspire together.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Intentional Productivity Tips. I am Megan. I am your very favorite strategic productivity partner, and I want to thank you for joining me today to talk about your productivity. Today's productivity tip, I think, is very important and, as usual, very timely. Today, we are going to be talking about capturing ideas and turning them into action. When you think about it, we have all these ideas going on in our mind. What do we do with them? How do we make sure that they get done so that they're not just floating and leaving there? So that is what we are going to focus on today. But first, you are watching me on USA Global TV and Radio's YouTube. I totally need to redo that. You are watching me on USA Global TV and Radio's YouTube channel, where please remember to like, subscribe, and even be noticed when new episodes drop, which, by the way, I am here every Thursday at 2 p.m. Pacific, where we are talking about intentional productivity tips. So as I mentioned, today we are talking about capturing ideas and turning them into action, because one of the things that I do know from myself and working with others and talking to people is that we have a lot of ideas and thoughts going on in our heads. The question is, what do we do with them so that we actually assign them and they're not just kind of staying up there and popping back? I used to have someone that I worked with, and she used to talk about how our minds have these cycles that just pop up, and ideas and things pop up. And when she would talk about it, she used to have a hand gesture where she would talk about ideas popping up. And so I'll be honest, that is something that I picture, especially when it comes to ideas and things that pop into my head. I picture them kind of as popcorn kernels popping around. So the question is, what do we do to them? It's not popcorn, they're ideas, so we can't eat it, but we can capture them and do something with it. So let's talk a little bit about that today. So today we are going to focus on two things, because our goal is to what? Capture first, decide later, and act intentionally. So to talk about capturing our ideas and turning them into action, we're going to talk about two things today specifically. We're going to talk about from random into action, and we're going to talk about a capture list, which is actually a place where you capture them. Please don't worry, it doesn't have to be a paper. It can look like anything you want. Sometimes when I say list, people are like, oh, I don't want a list. It's to capture anything you want. I just call it a capture list because it's easy. But our goal when we think about it is, what are we supposed to do with these ideas? So let's talk about being intentional and taking control of our productivity. Why is a capture list? So one of the things that I just talked about is a capture list. So let's talk about a little bit about what a capture list is, right? A capture list is one centralized location where you put any ideas that you have, any thoughts, anything. It's one location, and then you go and you check it, and then you do something, right? So that's why we're talking about capturing ideas and then turning it into action. That first part is capturing it. So why do we want to have a capture list? Uncaptured ideas don't go away. They just hover. Remember what we were just talking about, some of those thoughts that just keep popping around, right? So why we want to have a capture list? Have you ever had a random thought in the middle of the night, maybe in the shower or while you're driving, and you're like, oh, I've got to tell so-and-so to do such and such, right? What do you do with that? This is the joy of a capture list. You have a place where you keep it and you capture that thought, and you can go back later and you can identify when you're going to do it, right? So what do you do with it? The goal is to turn these random thoughts into actionable ideas with the capture list process, because ideas don't disappear. They distract. So our goal, again, meeting with the name of our show, Intentional Productivity Tips, our goal is to be intentional with our ideas. Again, if we create a capture list, it is one place that is able to keep our thoughts for us. It's one place that's able to keep things that we know where they are, so we can go back to it later. So that's why we want to have a capture list, right? So when we think about it, a capture list is not about doing more. It's about not holding everything in your head. And that is my true goal, especially when I'm working with productivity clients at the very beginning. I always ask them, where do you keep your ideas when you have something that pops up, right? So that is the goal with this capture list. It is one place that we know that we're going to go and look. We know we're going to go, and this is going to be where we put those ideas, right? Not just me telling you this. Why a capture list process works is because studies show that people who capture their ideas are 40% more likely to follow through with them. That's from David Allen, author of Getting Things Done. So when we think about it, let's repeat that. Studies show that people who capture ideas are 40% likely more to follow through with them. So all we have to do is write the idea down, and we're 40% more likely to do it than not. Is it worth writing it down? I think so. Now, I know sometimes people are like, oh, I don't want to write it. When I am saying writing, please know this is the year of 2026. So it could be a verbal note. It could be anything that you want. No, the goal is to have one place where all of this information is captured, right? It's important to identify what that capture list is for you, to define your capture list. Why, right? Because when we think about it, a capture list is a trusted holding space for thoughts you can't act on yet, so they stop interrupting what you're doing now. Now think about it. I have a question for you. Depending on how long you've been in the work world, right? Has it been a year, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years or more? It could be any one of those. When you think about it, if you've been in the work world for 10, 15, 20, 30 years, one of the things that's the most shocking about this year is where we are now is how fast things work, right? When you think about it, when I entered the world in the 90s, the work world I felt was fast at that time, but it is nothing like it is now because of accessibility, because of time zones, because of remote work, because of a lot of reasons. We are accessible and people are coming at us. We have more to think about and manage in the year of our Lord 2026 than we ever have before. So by defining a capture list, one place that I'm going to write my thoughts or ideas down is going to help us to take control. So that's why you want to ask yourself, what is going to help you in your situation to stop interrupting, right? What is going to work with your flow? So that's why we want to talk a little bit. So let's talk a little bit about creating that capture list process now. The first thing is we want to look at the purpose. The purpose is to identify a place to mind dump and download thoughts that arise that can't be dealt with right away, right? So it's a mind dump. It's a place where, oh, I have to go pick up this. Oh, that's right. My driver's license is due in April. Just a random thought that I had, right? But again, it's things that are in my head right now. So what I want to do is identify, where is it that I can put these? When you think about it, your capture list is all about you and your preferences. You know, that's one of my very favorite things to say, but in a capture list, it's especially true because it's yours. It's your thoughts. Where do you want to put them? So you want to ask yourself, there's different options, right? You could use a notes app. Some people use a paper notebook, maybe in your calendar, maybe have an appointment, maybe a note card. I have one client that uses a note card. Maybe there's a document, right? Or maybe some people text themselves or message themselves. The options are unlimited. I want you to stop and ask yourself, knowing yourself, where is a place that you would easily be able to access where you could drop any mind dump, any thoughts, capture any ideas that you have quickly? Because the goal is quickly. You want to capture it, dump it, and move on back to what you were doing, right? So that's the goal. So where is it that you can do that? For me, it's my notes app. My notes app is where I keep everything. And so I have a capture list on my notes app. So I would recommend you find something that works for you. So The most important part of a capture list. Now, some people sometimes say, oh, Megan, setting up the capture list is the most important part of this, right? And yes, that is important. But the actual most important part of a capture list is that you need to have a review process. Writing and dumping the ideas someplace is great, but if you don't do anything with them, then you've kind of fallen a little bit short. So that's why I want to be specific and to mention and encourage that not only when you're creating a capture list process, do you need to find where you're going to capture these ideas, but the other thing you need to do is you need to have a review process, right? So that review process, why does it matter? Regularly reviewing and processing your list helps you turn random thoughts into actionable items. You'll be able to see things. And I'll be honest with you, there's sometimes when I will have the same thing that I've noticed I've captured multiple times. After the fourth time I write the same thing down, I'm like, maybe this is more important and I need to put some action behind it, right? So it gives us an idea to put it, but reviewing it tells us what's going on in the moment and what we need to do. So the question is, how often do you review your capture list? Let's be honest. It could be daily, it could be weekly, it could be monthly. The frequency with which you review is important for you to set up for your process. I will be honest, probably monthly is a little too far. I recommend either daily or weekly. I check mine daily, but I know for some people that doesn't work, and that's okay. And again, the nice thing is, getting in a habit, there's going to be less to check, right? I had one client who was like, oh, Megan, I don't want to, processing my capture list is going to take hours. And the first time it did, but when he did it 3 days later, it didn't take as long. And so it's setting a process and setting a time pace that's going to work for you is going to help you moving forward. So it's super important to identify. Not only do we have a capture list, but we review it on the regular. If you don't do this step, your capture list is going to fail. I don't say that often, but in this case, if we don't review our capture list and we don't assign actions to those lists, it's going to fail. So turning thoughts into action, right? So the goal is to remember that this is about being strategic. This is about the next step is thinking. Is this an action? Is this a calendar item? Or is this a parking lot idea, right? So when you're doing your daily, weekly, or monthly review, you want to be asking yourself, and you want to give yourself a filter, right? The filter that you're going to ask yourself is, what is the next step? Do I turn it into an action, a calendar item, or do I turn it into a parking lot idea? For example, what could a parking lot idea be? Oh, there's times when I have had an idea about vacations or places to go. I was talking to a friend last week about creating a vacation plan for 2027. And we were talking about some of those things. So if I have ideas, maybe that goes into a parking lot because it's not right now, right? But again, if I've said, oh, wait, I have said renew my driver's license 4 times, maybe I need to just go online and do that. So it's, again, what we're doing when we're looking at our capture list that we have dumped, our mind dump, we're looking at it. We want to review it to assess and identify what's the next step. We're turning thoughts into actions. And again, we're asking ourselves, is this an action, a calendar item, or a parking lot item? Not everything becomes an action right now. Some things become a note or maybe a someday idea, right? Or a concise not now. Once you've reviewed the action list, it is the most important thing is to identify what you need to be focusing on now and identifying what you need to put away for later. So I'm going to repeat that. When you're reviewing your capture list, one of the most important things is to identify what's urgent now and what can be put away for later. Sometimes putting things away for later is more fun. Planning a vacation, heck yeah, I want to do that. Right. But you have to ask yourself at this point is when you make some of those decisions on where you need to spend your time. So that's why I found having a parking lot or a someday maybe or a later time really works to help with that. This is all about the whole goal of creating a capture list and a review process is about being strategic, right? It's deciding if this thought needs an action, if it needs further research, scheduling, or immediate action, right? What we want to do with our capture list and then processing it is saying, I have all these thoughts and ideas every day. How can I organize them? And then how can I take action? So that's why we've introduced the idea of a capture list and reviewing your capture list today. Because if we are honest about it, a capture list process is absolutely worth your time. When you think about it, it's being kind to your mind because you're taking care of the actions and the thoughts. You've got something you're doing with that. The more organized your mind, the more focused your actions, and the more productive your time. Distraction can easily derail progress, so you create a capture process that works for you in advance, that capture your ideas before they slip away, and you turn them into actions. That is really the true point. Hey, Jason, thank you for your point. And I would say, true, I agree. A capture list is a really, really important idea in turning in a review process in that. So thank you for your comment for that. My encouragement for you, my ask for you this week is for you to ask yourself and identify, do you have a lot of random thoughts that go through your mind? And if you do you like the process you currently have, or do you want to make it better? My recommendation is to really look at your capture list and review process. How will you incorporate a capture list into your productivity? So that is my challenge for you this week, is to remember, every idea does not need action. It needs a decision about what's next. Now, this is something I had to tell myself on the regular. Every idea doesn't need action. It needs a decision about what's next. That's what we want to remember. The purpose of creating a capture list, the purpose of doing all of this is to direct your energy. If we're chasing thoughts and ideas in our minds all the time and trying to focus and do them, that is crazy making. We don't want to make crazy. We want to make productivity. We want to be productive. We don't want to be crazy. So our goal is to ask ourselves, what are the places in our productivity that we can take control of our time? One of the places we can take control of our time is how do we process our ideas? How do we process our ideas? Means introducing a capture list. So that's what I have done this week for you. My goal for you is every week is that you have at least one actionable takeaway that you can take and you can implement into your productivity habits. So my challenge for you is to think about, what do you use? Do you have a capture list process? And if you don't, maybe it's time to start one. First question, where do you want to put your capture list? Where do you want to track it? Again, I use my notes app because let's be honest, I've got my phone with me most of the time. So and I like using my notes app because I can also talk to text into it. And for me, that has over the last 2 years, I would say, become more and more important. So think about these preferences, be specific and intentional. Ask yourself, how can I set this process up so I will follow through with it? Processes fail when we set up processes we know we won't complete. So that's why we've talked so much today about your capture list and your review process so that you're able to do that. So again, your turn to capture your ideas. How will you take control of your random thoughts? The goal of today has been to think about those random thoughts and how we can turn them into action, as well as introducing a capture list. So my hope and challenge to you this week is that you take some time, you break out a capture list wherever works for you, you start jotting down those ideas and random thoughts, and then have a review session, because the review session and turning those thoughts into action and asking yourself, do I need to do something about this now? Do I need to do something about this later? That being honest with yourself, setting realistic expectations is how you're going to be productive. And you're going to be at peace with your productivity, which is the goal. So I want to thank you for joining me today to talk about your capture list and to think about your capture ideas. So again, I will be back next Thursday. We are going to talk about more intentional productivity tips. You will see me here on USA Global TV and Radio's YouTube channel. Well, please remember to like, subscribe, and even be notified when new episodes drop. Check out the new other episodes that are on there and other shows. There's some pretty great ones. It can be about becoming your best self. I will see you next Thursday, 2 p.m., same channel, same topic, talking about being intentional with your productivity. Make this a great week. Now a word from our sponsors.
Get ready to wear the brand that's changing the world of media. Introducing the official USA Global TV and Radio online store. From our TV show hosts to our incredible global guests, you asked, we delivered. Rep your appearance with pride. Whether you've been on air, hosted a show, or tuned in, we have something just for you. Visit us at usaglobaltvradioshoп.myspreadshop.com and start shopping today. Check back frequently. We're dropping fresh new designs all the time. Showcase your role in our global community. These designs celebrate your voice, your story, your presence. It's more than just merchandise. It's a movement of hope, inspiration, education, and elevated listening. Head to usaglobaltvradioshoп.myspreadshop.com. Your spotlight awaits. USA Global TV and Radio. Elevate your style. Elevate the world.
Thank you, viewers and listeners of USA Global TV and Radio, for joining us today. We're honoured to have your time and attention as part of our global community. At USA Global TV and Radio, we believe in the power of authentic conversations, meaningful connections, and creating a world of possibilities together. Want to be part of something bigger? Join our team of elevated listeners at usaglobaltv.com, a space where your voice matters and your ability to listen transforms relationships. Stay connected with us across all our platforms for thought-provoking discussions, expert insights, and empowering stories. Subscribe to our channels at youtube.com/c/USAGlobalTV. Follow us on social media and explore the endless opportunities we're creating for growth, learning, and inspiration. Together, we're not just broadcasting, we're building bridges and changing lives one conversation at a time. For inquiries, contact us at info@usaglobaltv.com. Music by Johnny Dyes. Produced by Executive Producer and Director Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck. Voiceover by Mike Porter. Creative Direction by Paul Garcia. All rights reserved. Copyright 2025. Visit usaglobaltv.com to view our full terms and conditions.